How's it going, everyone? I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Chris. Thank you guys for visiting the channel today. First of all, I want to say congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers for winning their 17th championship. LeBron was balling, as he always is, playing at such a high level. That guy is really like a freak of nature. Yeah, that guy is incredible. Definitely will go down as one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. Don't at me. And I had a lot of friends that were down in Staples Center being wild and hanging out with all the crowd, although everyone should probably be a little bit more careful. And, you know, people in LA be wilding. You know how it goes here in LA. In today's video, I wanted to go over how to MIDI sync with the MPC One and the Roland SP-404SX. It took me a little while to try to figure it out because I couldn't find an actual way of doing it online. But with a little bit of trial and error, I was able to do it. And I was even able to get the MIDI notes to sync up with the SP-404SX so I can trigger all the notes from the MPC One without pressing the SP-404SX. I'll show you guys an example. But before I get into that, I want to say make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video, as it helps me with this crazy, insane YouTube algorithm. And all right, let's jump in. Let me show you guys what as you can see, I'm already kind of set up already. But before we get started, the first thing that you're going to need is a MIDI cable. This one is about, I believe, like 3 feet or something. Not very long. It's a very short cable. The reason being is because I didn't want a really long cable because, I mean, I was going to keep these side by side. So obviously what we're going to do, we're going to go from the MIDI in, the only MIDI output on the SP-404, to the MIDI out of the MPC One, which is the first one. And that is it. That's all you got to do. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's make sure that we're in channel 1. So we're going to hit function, MIDI channel on the SP-404SX. In my example, I'm going to use channel 1, but obviously you have the option of 15 MIDI channels. If you're using channel 1 on your MPC One already, feel free to go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, using control number 3. So because I'm going to use channel 1, I'm going to press record, and that saves that setting. And then I'm just going to make sure that my MIDI sync is on automatic, and it is. So we're good to go. If it's not, just make sure to turn the control knob to automatic and press record. Now, on the SP-404SX, it's really easy to set up the MIDI. On the MPC One is where I was struggling. So on the MPC One, it requires a couple steps to be able to set up the MIDI properly. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to home. We're going to make sure that MIDI clock is set to on and not to off. And we're going to go to the settings. And I already have it on MIDI sync, but if it lands on info, just go to the 4th one, and it'll take you to MIDI sync. And as far as inputs, we're not going to touch that. We are going to be touching the output. So we want to make sure that the first output says MPC, which is the MPC One, because what you're doing is you're sending the MIDI data out of the MPC into the Roland SP-404SX. Make sure that you click this little button right here. This is where I was trying to figure it out. You have to initiate this button in order for the machine to send the MIDI data. Once you do that, you're going to go down here and then send to MIDI clock and send MMC. You have to make sure that those are checked. Because the SP-404SX doesn't have a MIDI out, there's no need to receive MMC. But if you're using another device that does have a MIDI out, then obviously you would check that little button right there. And as far as that, those are the settings. So make sure that's on sync, and make sure that MIDI clock is selected for send, and then send MMC. So we're going to go back to the main screen. Now, if I press play, the sequence should follow. But let's say I want to also access the sounds that are on the SP-404SX. So I'm going to create a MIDI track. So I'm going to click this button right here. That looks like a MIDI input. And then I'm going to go to program. I'm going to select channel 1. And then I'm going to pick MIDI port MPC. Okay. Another little thing so you guys are aware, I have the output of the SP-404SX going into the input of my MPC One in the scenario where I want to record an audio track. So what I need to do is I need to click the audio button. This step isn't necessary, but definitely useful if you plan on recording your sounds into the MPC One. We're going to go to input configuration, and we're just going to select monitor on. That way we can hear the audio that's coming from the SP-404SX. We're going to go back to Midi, and then I'm just going to play the sequence on the Roland SP-404SX just to make sure that we're getting audio. Alrighty. Okay, so as you can see, I pressed the SP-404SX. It played the audio. That's good. So now, if what's supposed to happen is when I press play start, the sequence on the SP-404SX should also begin. So let's test it out. As you heard, I was changing the BPM on the MPC One, and the Roland SP-404SX was following. Okay, cool. So if you wanted to just get it to MIDI sync so the sequencer could follow the MPC One, that's all you need to do. But I have another little tip for you guys. If you want to access the sounds that are on the SP-404SX, for example, I have some drum sounds here. Random drum sounds. Apparently I don't have anything on pad 4, not sure why, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press hide right here. You might not have to go through that step because yours might actually be showing like this. And I'm going to go to pad perform. Now, this is the way that I got it to actually line up, because originally this is set to notes and it's set to the C major. And when I do that, I'll show you guys. Let me set it to C. And then I'm going to go to notes. As you can see, I press 1, 2, 3, 4, and it doesn't initiate these 4 pads. And then, okay, so that one does initiate it. Okay. And then it starts doing like random. This is one of the issues with even the older MPCs. I'm not sure why. In the older MPCs, you would have to create a program that kind of follows whatever, I don't know, chromatic order that you want, or whatever chromatic order the other device or computer is following, digital audio workstation. But there is a workaround this that I found useful. Instead of creating a program, you can just hit chromatic, and then we're going to go to B, and then make sure it's on octave 2. So this setup should line up perfectly with the SP-404SX. So when I press pad 1, it should initiate pad 1. I don't have anything on pad 4, so just so you're aware. That's the hi-hat. Another hi-hat. A little sample, vocal sample. Okay, so now I go to the second bank, right? And initiates pad 1, but look, if I go to bank B on here, I can control my chops that I have on bank B. Now I don't have anything on C, but my assumption is that it would work the same. So this pad layout right here syncs up perfectly with the SP-404SX. It follows the order of the pads. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have for you guys for today. Hopefully this video was helpful. I try to make it as simple as possible. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I plan on making more videos like this, or more beat making videos in the very near future. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you are doing well, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's keep on making beats. Peace.